Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on BitChute, the name of my BitChute channel is Comic Freak. Today, Daisy Ridley put her everything in her mouth because she dared say her experience in her life was no more privileged than anyone else. And we'll be reading all about it in this article. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker's Daisy Ridley faces backlash over privileged comments. The writer's hoping she'll learn from her ignorance. Whatever. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker actress Daisy Ridley has attracted criticism following a recent interview with The Guardian. Daisy, who plays a scavenger-turned-Jedi Rey in the franchise, made comments in response to a question about privilege. When talking about her private education, Daisy replied by suggesting that she is no more privileged than her Star Wars co-star John Boyega, which has been met with heavy criticism on social media. I mean, all she did was say she was no more privileged than the black man standing beside her, but apparently, SJWs have a real problem with that, since his parents were Nigerian immigrants, and he apparently did some blah 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 that got him into actor's school. Apparently, Daisy's saying she's no more privileged than him, SJWs have a real problem with. Though, on their argument side, she does come from a rich family, and she spent 9 years in school becoming an actress, so, they could argue that she is privileged. Even though her co-star is a black man, he's also an actor, so I'd say he is privileged. Ridley was asked if her background, including private boarding school and relatives who are established in the industry, has helped her to navigate the world of celebrity easier than her peers. The star replied, "The privilege I have, how? No, generally, how?" When reporter No Sean Isbal explained she meant in terms of class and wealth and wasn't criticizing her, Ridley went on to suggest that her experiences weren't too dissimilar to those of her co-star John Boyega. Boyega, who plays Finn in the franchise, was raised in South London by British Nigerian immigrant parents and applied for a hardship fund to join Theatre Beckham. Well, no, because no, John grew up on a cancelled estate in Beckham, and I think me and him are similar enough that no, the actress continued. Well, Daisy, that's the one thing you should not say because the SJWs came out in force and then began to swarm all over social media. And just take a look at those tweets. Over on Twitter, people aren't impressed at all by her statements and took the opportunity to share their disappointment. Just be warned, there's some strong language ahead. Here's a tweet from CEO of Keanu Reeves. "Disappointed but not surprised by Daisy Ridley. These are the results you get when you create a context in which upper middle class get to succeed, and the privilege is especially apparent in the UK's performance industry." The tweets from SJWs, they're so pungent with the smell of ignorance and arrogance themselves. Yes, CEO of Keanu Reeves, you're right. Daisy Ridley should not say that she's basically no different than her co-star John Boyega because she's a white woman. And that means she has so much white privilege because she came from a rich family, while her co-star is also a rich actor as well, and they're both so different from each other. CEO of Keanu Reeves continued with, "The privilege I have, how? No, generally, how? Well, I say in terms of wealth, class, education, that kind of privilege, and knowing how to decode the rules in certain spaces as a caveat. I add that both of us privilege, and it's not a criticism. I was simply curious to know how she thought things take an awkward turn." Well, no, because no, there is a very long, intense pause before she insists that actually there is little difference between her experience and that of her co-star John Boyega, who grew up in South London to British Nigerian immigrant parents. John grew up on a council estate in Beckham, and I think me and him are similar enough that no, I don't point out that members of Ridley's family were establishment figures. Her grandfather, John Ridley, OBE, was head of engineering at the BBC from 1950 to 1965. His brother was the dad's army actor and playwright Arthur Ridley, while Boyega had to apply for a hardship fund to join Theatre Beckham. Also, she adds, I went to a boarding school for performing arts, which was different. Her publicist later calls to clarify that Ridley won a scholarship, but surely 9 years of private education gave her some additional confidence. No, Ridley leans on her elbow while twirling a small knot in her hair. No, I think also it has taken me a little while to be okay with it. I was always fairly confident, and I think that comes from being part of a big family who are all quite chatty. As you can see, the CEO of Keanu Reeves printed a bit more of the interview that Daisy Ridley gave, and you can see she did have a lot of privilege in her life, coming from a rich family who have a prestigious history in working in the performing arts, it looks like, as well as writing. And apparently that makes her the equal of John Boyega, whose parents were Nigerian immigrants. Yes, you don't have any privilege more than anyone else, Daisy Ridley. And I have to say this. Remember, John Boyega is a rich actor, so he's not that far from her, still. And here we have some more tweets about Daisy Ridley. I asked if she thinks it has been easier to be confident and navigate her celebrity because of her privilege in her life of boarding school and her upbringing and so on. Ridley is certainly incredulous. The privilege I have? How? No, generally, how? Yes, how is she privileged more than anyone else? She only came from a rich family. I mean, I myself don't see she has any more privilege. I mean, she only came from a rich family that paid for everything she has, paid for her education, probably paid for her clothes and drugs she takes on the side. But hey, I don't think she's any more privileged than anyone else. But here's the thing, Daisy Ridley. The NPCs don't care what you say. They only see that you touched one of their sacred cows. So they're going to come after you to make an example of you, because it's not just about the example to be made, it's the fact that they can then go screaming about their agenda politics again, and you gave them the opportunity. Here are some more tweets. Here's from C. Disappointed in Daisy Ridley, but hoping she could learn from her ignorance. Here's one from Ham Yo-Yo. One of the most appalling things about this Daisy Ridley interview is that in her 4 years of headlining one of the biggest franchises on Earth, this is so painfully evidently the very first time anyone has truly invited her to critically confront and examine her own privilege. Ugh, Ham Yo-Yo is a perfect name for you, lady. Here's another tweet from Jade, and I'm not saying the rest of that gibberish. Daisy Ridley refusing to accept that she's privileged because she had a private education and her dad's an OBE. Is not it, Chief? Just say it yes and go. Here's one from Samuel Morgan Graham. Seriously, F this interview. How do we live in a world where Daisy Ridley doesn't recognize her privilege and life experience is different to John Boyega? Samuel, they're both rich actors. I don't think that matters anymore. Here's a tweet from Patrick Swan. Daisy Ridley really seems to think that she, a white woman born into immense privilege, a well-connected family in the entertainment biz, is about the same life experience hardship-wise as John Boyega, dark-skinned black man with Nigerian parents who grew up in Peckham. Here's another from Garlium Beverage. This is one of the most appalling, out-of-touch things I've ever read. She argues that it was a large, chatty family that gave her the confidence to be an actor and not 9 years at a specialist performing arts boarding school. Geez, these people just keep blabbering on and on endlessly. The worst thing you ever heard? Oh my God. See, everyone, and this includes Daisy Ridley if she'll ever listen to any of my videos, do not listen to these people, do not bend the knee to them, because they will not forgive you, because this has nothing to do with forgiveness. You've given them the opportunity to sprout endlessly about their agenda politics, and they will use you as a mouthpiece so that they can just spew it out into the world, because this is the only thing that matters to these people. So do not bend the knee to them, do not listen to them, and don't give them any more power than they already have. And that is, they don't have any power at all. Well, I've said my bit, so I'll just go into my usual spiel at the end of my videos, as usual, folks. If you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people, and I mean that. They're having a subscriber purge right now, so make sure you are still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. Then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. Now, please listen, because I want you to share this video. I want you to share it on Twitter, and I want you to share it on Facebook. I want you to share it anywhere you think it would do the most good, because YouTube is not going around promoting their own YouTube creators anymore, and it would really help me if you could please share this video. It's plug-in time again. Keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.